Hey, what's up guys? Brandon here. Today I want to talk to you guys about something different, more of a theory slash argument video. I know a lot of you guys love Duelmasters, as did I, but there was also another game, Kaijudo, that I also loved and cherished very much. We played it competitively, me, my brother Tom, and plenty of my other friends, Lewis, Zach, Christian, Takura. You guys probably don't know them, but hopefully they'll watch and catch up. But anyway, I wanted to talk about what Kaijudo got right and how I appreciated some card design choices. I'm probably going to make a video talking about what it got wrong, but I want to show some love because I know this game gets a lot of hate, especially overseas and by the Duelmasters OCG guys. So let's get into it. So this video will have 4 main parts, and I'm probably just going to ramble on at the end a little bit just for nostalgia's sake. So the first part I want to talk about is the discard. So in Kaijudo, when Kaijudo first came out, these were the main discard cards. We had Fumes, which is kind of like Locomotiver, but as you can see, when he enters the battle zone, your opponent chooses. Big difference, right? We have Ghost Touch, which was renamed to Spectre Claw. However, your opponent also chooses. Big deal, right? In my opinion, I think Ghost Touch is a little too powerful, to be honest. If you think about it, if you go first, and if you play a creature early, let's say on turn 2, and you get Ghost Touched, your hand is already down to 2 cards. That's a pretty big deal. I actually piloted a deck with a heavy discard package and topped the KMC with it. It was actually really fun and powerful. So there we have Skull Shatter. So obviously this is Lost Souls art, different name, but Kaijudo was the first to nerf it to 8 mana. If you play Duelmasters Plays, you'll know in Duelmasters Plays, Lost Soul is now 8 mana as well. So Kaijudo did it first. Very good job with the nerf. Now, these cards, obviously, the opponent chooses, but they also included random discard in the form of splits. So, Spire Puppet and Mad Watcher, this card really wasn't played much. This guy actually saw play in some control decks. When he is banished, aka destroyed, your opponent randomly discards a card. We would usually roll a dice or something. And this guy, when he enters the battle zone, you randomly discard a card from your opponent. So you had an option. You can clutter your deck of more mixes for this guy and hit a random discard, or you could just go with Fumes. And the last of the discard that I will address is Maddening Whispers. Kaijudo also nerfed Cranium Clamp. In this game it was Maddening Whispers to 5 mana, which I 110% agree with. Cranium Clamp should have been 5, and Lost Soul certainly should have been 8. Spectre Claw / Ghost Touch definitely should be your opponent chooses. I love the way discard was handled in Kaijudo. I would not change a single thing. Moving on to my favorite part of Kaijudo that I love, the green section. So in green, we had a very powerful archetype, and that archetype was called Megabugs. Now, Hive Queen, Broodmother, Manitic. They have something in common. They all get you advantage. Manitic was an incredible turn 3 play. He can search out another copy of himself, a Broodmother, a Hive Queen. He's a fantastic card, great Evo bait, very powerful card. I love this. There should be more of this in Duelmasters. I wish Beastfolk had something like this. Broodmother. You look at the top 2 cards, reveal any number of creatures, and put them into your hand. If you were playing very creature-heavy decks, this was pretty much a 5 mana, 4,000 draw 2. Pretty insane, right? On top of that, it has Protector, which is like a Gimp blocker. You can block attacks on your creatures. Great card. Hive Queen. This deck was first made by Carl Michiotto. I want to give him some credit. He made the first real Megabugs deck, and he did a great job in pioneering it. Ever since then, people love this card. They love the deck. And what he does is he goes on top of one of your bugs, and whenever he swings, you look at the top 3 cards, and you put a level 5 or lower creature into the battle zone. What can I say? This deck really was great. Very good archetype, and these two are prime examples of why I love Nature and Kaijudo. They actually had tutoring draw power / search power, which I feel in Duelmasters, Nature really got the short end of the stick. So then we have other searchers / recurrers. So this card, I thought this was a great card. If you have a very creature heavy deck, this is probably at worst a draw 2. Sometimes it's a draw 3. Reinforce. Look at the top 3 cards. You can reveal any number of creatures and put them in your hand. Fantastic card. This definitely belongs in Duelmasters. Something like this. This guy, unfortunately, he did come out later on in the Vortex set, which was the last printed set. So this guy never got to shine, unfortunately, but he is extremely powerful. He's also an original art. You can tell by looking down here. If it's an American name, usually it's by one of the Wizards of the Coast guys. So at the end of each of your turns, Mutak says if you have a creature in the battle zone with 6,000 power or more, you can return a creature from your mana zone to your hand and then do a Bronze Arm Tribe effect. So you get to ramp one, and hey, it's great, right? I love this card. Something like this should absolutely exist in Duelmasters. It would give a big buff to nature decks. I really love that card. And this guy also came out much later, but he's like a juiced up version of Hive's Queen. So this guy went on any nature creature, as did many of the later evolutions from Kaijudo. I don't know how I feel about civilization evolutions. You have to be very careful when creating them, because I feel like you're kind of ruining the integrity of the game, because their races like Enforcers, Beastkin, and important races like that kind of don't take precedence anymore. I don't like the idea of color-based evolutions. I like the tribe, I like the race thing. But anyway, this guy is absolutely insane. Now, he's only a one-shot deal. He's Meteor Burn for those of you OCG guys. So you burn the card underneath him, and you look at the top 5 cards, and you could put a 3-drop or less into the battle zone, and reveal an evolution creature and put that evolution in your hand. So this guy can tutor himself. You can put a 3-drop nature creature. Hey, look, happens to be a 3-drop, right? You put him in, you swing, you get another one of this guy or something like a Hive Queen or something. Yeah, this guy is absolutely insane. He came out very late though, so yeah, nature. I love how you guys at Wizards, you really did nature right in Kaijudo. All right, moving on. So we're gonna get into removal. So one thing Kaijudo did right, in my opinion, again, did many things right, but was the level-based removal. So here we have Ice Blade. This is a worse Spiral Slider. You bounce a level 4 or less from the battle zone to its owner's hand. So we also had Veil Vortex. Now, obviously, this is Spiral Gate. Looks like Spiral Gate, just a different name. They nerfed it to 4. I 100% agree with this nerf. So we're going to get to the rest of the removals in the game, and we're going to look at Terror Pit. They made it 7 mana. Root Trap, they also made it 7 mana. Common Missile, they corrected the color. Critical Blade, that's what this card pretty much is. It destroys any blocker for 2. Should have been a fire card. In Duelmasters, it was Darkness. And we all know Aqua Surfer, right? We didn't get Aqua Surfer in Kaijudo. A lot of people felt that Aqua Surfer was a little too powerful, and I honestly can see that. Aqua Surfer is backbreaking against a lot of decks, especially Rush and aggro decks. And this guy actually just locks a guy when he comes in, and I actually think that was a very good nerf. This card really didn't see play. It unfortunately was released in the Gauntlet set, but I agree with this nerf. So let me talk about the level-based removal stuff. So Bone Blades, extremely powerful card. There's a lot of powerful Evo stuff. There was a Beast Folk Evo that was 4 mana, 7,000. There was a few other guys. There was like a Drakon Rush deck. This card was pretty much a get out of jail free card. It was great in the shields. It was pretty much a Terror Pit in the shields versus rushy aggro decks, and it was great in your hand. This card was usually maxed out at 4. I really like the idea of level-based removal, because one thing Kaijudo did absolutely correct was they respected big bodies. Now, in Duelmasters, you had Spirogate at 2, you had Corral at 5, he made evolutions worse. The removal was too powerful in Duelmasters, in my opinion. There were so many sweeps, too. You had Blizzard of Spears, you had Searing Wave. There were just a lot of like level-based and too many sweeping removals as well. And by making these guys more expensive, every single one of these, I think you made it more of a creature-based game, which Duelmasters plays is actually that's what it is. It's more of a creature-based game. The spells are very weak in Duelmasters plays. And Kaijudo actually did that first, and I 110% agree with it. So yeah, these guys were all nerfed, Spiral Gate, Terror Pit, and Natural Snare, because they're pretty much a get out of jail free. They can get rid of any body so long as you're allowed to. Yeah. So, getting to the last part of my video is my favorite part. Anti-control cards. So, what we have here are some of the most powerful anti-control cards in Kaijudo. There were decks piloted around all of these guys. So first I want to go over Keeper of Laws. This guy was incredible against Control. Control, Sweat. Once you played this, Control was on the clock. So when you have another creature in the battle zone, they can't choose him. So they can't Terror Pit, they can't Bone Blades, they can't do anything. And whenever your opponent casts a spell, you draw. So if they play a draw spell, if they play a discard spell, you're drawing, you're drawing. This card owns Control. They can't deal with it easily at all. There's very few options for them. I think Duelmasters needs more of a Keeper of Laws, 100%. Finbar, this guy was incredible. He's more of a tempo aggro card, but when you play him, you get a Aqua Surfer effect, you bounce a guy, and then whenever... Sorry, it's too shiny. I'm trying not to blind you guys. Whenever one of your other creatures attacks, you get to draw. So pretty much, they become Hyper Squid Walters. And this card is insane. This card, if you have one or two guys, you bounce their own blocker, you attack. That's a big swing play right there. I mean, you got Control on the ropes. He makes you go crazy. Plus, he bounces an enemy creature, a problem creature. He's a very powerful card. I love that card. And Cyber Scamp. This card also screws over Control pretty bad. If you go first and play this, Control can't play their Fairy Life. It was Sprout in Kaijudo, but they can't play Fairy Life, they can't play Spectre Claw, they can't play any spell. If they kill this guy with a spell like a Waylay, which was Crimson Hammer in Kaijudo or something, he would replace himself. So, very, very powerful card. I really enjoyed these anti-control cards. So... Swordhorn. This is probably one of my personal favorite cards in Kaijudo. I love Light in Nature. I love the Initiate Beast Folk race. Enforcers were Initiates. And I just love this card. You might remember Lukia Lex from Duelmasters. So he's Lukia Lex, but he's better races and he doesn't untap and he has a sitting power at 5,500. So I love this card. This was a big, big card for me in tempo decks. He's a great beatdown card, very hard to get rid of, and he could evolve into the next card that I'm going to go into. So this guy's name is not Banned Beetle Prime. It's actually Blinder Beetle Prime. I got this signed by Ryan Miller. He's the guy who created Bottle of Wishes. All right, we're not going to talk about that. That's for another video. But I got this signed at a KMC because I actually beat him with this Blinder Beetle. And I thought it would be really cool to get his signature since he was a part of the team. And I'm going to keep this card forever. But anyway, this card goes on Initiates. They're called Enforcers. But he goes on Enforcers. And it's pretty much like a Crazed Valkyrie. So what you do is when he comes in, you tap a guy. And then when he attacks, you tap a guy again. So you can tap two guys. He's very versatile. This card you could control the board with, or you could clear the path and go for game. This card dictated a lot of the meta. This was more of an aggro tempo-ish card, and all these guys right here, I played these guys pretty often. As you can see, they're very powerful anti-control tools. That's what I love. So yeah, there's a little bit I didn't cover in this video. If any Kaijudo guys see this video who played both Duelmasters and Kaijudo, if you realize I left something out, feel free to chime in. I really love Kaijudo. I just want to say that to the guys out there who say Kaijudo was a bad game, who say stupid stuff like, oh, Kaijudo just made everything more expensive mana cost and it was slower. And trust me, they're completely wrong. Everyone who played Kaijudo loved Kaijudo, and many of us were still heartbroken over Kaijudo. It really sucked that it died, but what are you gonna do, you know? Wizards, it's not the first time Wizards killed Duelmasters, so it happened. But anyway, I thank you guys for watching my video. I appreciate it. I'll leave comments. I'll strike a conversation. I love to talk Kaijudo and Duelmasters. Thank you so much for watching. Have a good one.